Hello, Franz here with Clay Manufacturing. This is a hopefully quick video on how to model a soft jaw blank. Why am I doing a blank right now? Well, it's very handy to have soft jaw so I can cut my own geometry in the top of this. If you've been following along on my website or my YouTube, I've left off on our speed wrench where the next step is to make soft jaws for this. And let me show you what I'm talking about really quick. So we have all the top side of this part machined, and these ends, let's see, these ends are at angle, and I need to have a jaw that matches this geometry so I can easily clamp it. And so what the idea is, we flip our part over, stick it in a jaw, and then machine this hat off while I'm holding it in this soft jaw. Let me get rid of him. So I already have all the cam done for this, how to cut it out. But before we create this soft jaw, we need to figure out how to make a soft jaw blank. So if we go to my website, what am I talking about here? On my website, let's go to Clay Manufacturing. So I make these for free, which is why I drag my feet a little bit on making them. And if you go to make it, I have my free curriculum here. And where I left off, this is the wasabi, what I'm talking about. And right now, the current video is on the cheese, so I'm going to left mouse click on here, and the PDF print will be found here. And it was kind of mixed up earlier, but it should be fixed when you watch this. This is my drawing, my PDF drawing, and we notice we have our width and our height. Where is my height? Right here, 2 inches, and the thickness is 1, because we're just starting with 1 by 2 aluminum, and I'm saw cutting it at 6 inches for your standard 6-inch Kurt Vise. This is 2 inches tall. A hard jaw in a Kurt Vise is like 1.73 or something like that. So this will stand a little bit taller, and it provides a little protection because it's pulling it further away from your the vise. With that said, I'm going to go for the first part, I'm going to sketch this rectangle, and this is a mechanical drawing, so typically in a mechanical drawing, the most detailed is in this front view, and this is your right side view, this is your top view. Now, over here let me get this situated. I typically model most of my detail from my top view inside of Fusion 360, so that way when I machine from a 3-axis milling machine, it just makes more sense in my little head. Now I've already cut it out. This is my cam tool pass. I just got to get these videos made. The next step I'm going to do is show you how to now make it. So I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm in my cheese. I already did a couple demos. I screwed them up. So this is this is my 3rd time, I think. Now, before I do anything, I'll say file. I will say save. We'll call this cheese soft jaw blank, and I'm going to say save. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and say new component, and this is going to be called the cheese, because I want to make sure I like individual components, so if you make an assembly, it's already organized for you. And why is it called cheese? It's because my most favorite chicken, her name is Cheese, and that's where this name comes from. Now, we're in Fusion. I have my file saved, and I'm going to go ahead in my view cube, I'm going to click on my top. I'm going to go to sketch and left mouse click and do sketch, and now I just need to define the plane, and I'm going to left mouse click on that plane. I'm already square with it. I'm going to go create, rectangle, center rectangle. I'm going to go click, and on my drawings, the cut length in the X was 6 inches, so I'll go 6, tab. The height was 2 inches, and the Y dimension was 2 inches, so I'll go 2, enter. Now, we are so smart, we have just done our 6-inch length by 2-inch tall, so we did this profile. And so this is our component, and now our sketches and soon to be body will be associated. You could label this sketch and call it, I'll just go rectangle rectangle profile. So if I needed to update sketches later, it's easier to find. Now I'm just going to say on my keyboard, I'm going to hit E for extrude. Let's give this some thickness. I'm going to click on here. I want to do direction. I'm going to do symmetric. Always model around the origin to make your life easier down the road. At least I always do. And then for measurement, I'm going to do whole length. And now I'm going to put 1 right here, 1.0. And if you did half length and typed in 1, it would make this whole thing 2 inches. I'm going to say OK. And now look, now I have a body associated with this component. And if I want to check, I'm going to come up here to measure. And I'm going to go click, click. And that says 1 inch. So I didn't fat finger. Everything looks good. The world is now good. This is my view cube, top orientation. And I want to go ahead. I'm going to put the center points for these kind of counterbores I got going on. Now it's 1 inch. The center is 1 inch from the bottom. And the spacing is 3.875 inches. So on this face, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say create sketch. I'm going to go create. I'm going to do point. I'll just plop him, and I have him purposely kind of off center and just weird. And now I'm going to do a horizontal constraint, and I'll click on my origin. I'll click on this one, and then I'm going to click on this one and see if it works. Nope. So it didn't work right away, so now I need to find what I want it to be horizontal constrained to. So I'm going to click on that one. Now we're looking pretty. So I got them up and down so they don't move. Now I need to dimension how far apart they are, and I want them centered in my piece. So first thing is I'll grab my dimension tool. I'm going to go click, click, and that, according to my print, is 3.875 inches. Now, these aren't centered in my part, so how do I do that? I'll show you how I'm going to do it, and it's not going to work in the beginning, and I know why, and I'll show you. I'm going to go to symmetry. This is a constraint tool. So I'll click, I want this and this to be symmetric about my origin. So it doesn't let me just click on there. Let's try a few things. Let's try to turn on my origin and see if it will let me select any of my axes. It does not. So I'm going to hit escape. You see, it wasn't letting me do anything. So what I need to do is I need to put a little construction line on there. So I could hit L on my keyboard or go up there and hit line. I'm just going to go click on my origin, drag up. I'm going to hit escape. And I want to turn this into a construction line. So I'm just going to select it and hit X on my keyboard for a construction line, or it's over here on the right. Now let's try that symmetry tool again. I'll click on there. I'll go click, click, and then on my new line, boom, perfect. They turn black, fully constrained. Love it. And we're not done yet. On these slots, I gave you the inside, the height of this slot and the width of this slot for the inner slot and this outer slot, and they go all the way through. So this is a bigger slot. It goes to a depth of 700. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this height and width to model my slot. And so this is the same inner slot for both of these. I just broke it up so I didn't have a bunch of overlapping dimension lines. With that said, I'm going to get this out of the way. Let's do that. We're going to go create, and I'm going to go slot, and we will do our overall slot. And I'm going to start on my left side. I'm purposely not going to be aligned with this guy right now. I'm just going to go click, and the box is blue, so I'm for the vertical dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0.705, and I want to make sure on the left when I tab over that my 90 degrees is correct. So let me try to hit enter first. So I hit enter, so they're both locked on. Now I just drag over with my mouse to right or left, and now I have a dimension box again. And that value for the inner one is 0.54. Enter. So now I've got this slot randomly placed. Now before I move it, I want to make sure its geometry is kind of locked in a little bit better so it doesn't move, so it doesn't change when I move the sketch. I'm going to do dimension tool. So I'm just going to click from that center point to that center point and say it's 0.165, which is how I just made it. So I'm going to hit enter. And then if I do from this side to this side, it's saying I already have that. So, all right, it's constrained, so it shouldn't move around on me. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my midpoint tool, click. I'm going to click on this line, and I'll click on that center point I created at the beginning on this plane. And then you see it just turned all black, fully constrained. Love it. Next one, I'm going to make a slot again the same exact way. The next slot is going to be the bigger one. It's going to be a 950 by 775. And then, well, I won't talk as much because I'm running out of voice. So let's go slot. We'll do overall slot. And I could start clicking on this line, but I'm purposely going to click off. So I'm going to click off above it, and then that height is 0.95. Enter. And then it's 90. I'm going to hit enter. It's locked in. I'm just going to drag to the side, and that width is 0.775. Enter. And then I'm going to go ahead and dimension from that one to that one so it doesn't move when I move the sketch, or so it doesn't change, I should say. And then I'm going to enter. I'm just going to leave that value, and I'm going to do my midpoint trick again. I'm just going to click on midpoint, click on that line, and then on that center, not this dot or that dot, but that center dot. There we go. So we are looking good. I'm going to hit E for extrude, and I'm going to go ahead and do the center one first. I can just drag it. Oopsies. I can just drag that baby all the way through, and it automatically updates to cut. I'll say OK. We're not done. I'm just going to hit save so I don't lose any data. Now I want this sketch active again, and I will name this sketch slot size. Enter. And I made it active because I need to extrude this one to make a counterboard. So I'll just go extrude again, select that, and I'm going to go in negative, I think it was 700, negative 0.7. It's got to go pretty deep because it's like a 1/2-13 socket cap screw, and it stands out pretty far, or it's a tall head. And so it takes up most of this cavity. So if you did it too shallow, you might have the head of your bolt sticking outside of your jaw. I'm going to go OK. And there we have it. So let me hide that, and let's show you what I made. So we made this little counterbore slot. This is a side view of it, not a section view, but you see this is the depth of it, 700. So the remainder of that is like 200, 7, 8, 9, 300, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 300. So that's pretty thick. It's looking good. And then you could even just inspect and make sure you did everything right. So click on there, that's 300. I could go, and so this one's got to be correct, 700, yeah. So instead of doing all that sketching nonsense again, there's an easier way to do it. We are going to do create, and this is why I model around the origin. We're going to go mirror, and I want to make sure my object type is on features. And I'm going to come in here. Make sure you hide your sketches so they don't get in the way. So that's not hidden. I'm going to click on that guy. We're going to click on that. And now I have two selected. So I want mirror plane, select that. And you see how it's kind of hard to see it. You could select on it, but I can come here and make that origin a little more visible. And for the mirror plane, don't grab that face, but just that mirror plane, the plane, that yellow. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say OK, and there we go. I'm going to say save, OK. Everything looks beautiful. I don't add chamfers inside my CAD because it makes it very annoying in CAM most of the time. When I machine this, I'll put a heavy chamfer on this one, probably not around the side, but just around this, so when I'm sliding bolts in and out, I'm not hitting a sharp corner. Hope this video helps. I will start to slowly finish my wasabi, but we got to finish this one. So my next video will be the cam for this soft job blank. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.